Hi guys, James here at Centurion Running. Going to talk to you about gear and apparel for all your trail mountain ultra adventures today. There's a few key components to this area which is pretty wide, to be honest. There's loads of different accessories and things you can add into this. We can't possibly cover them all, but I'm going to talk to you about the system as a whole and why that's important. So the key items in this area are your base layer, your race vest or waist belt, and your waterproofs, and it's how they work together in synergy that's so important to your preparation. It makes for safe, successful, enjoyable training and racing. And these are things that you should really wear as often as you can in training, because ultimately if your race dictates you need to have these things on your person or on, you should be training in them for all of your mid to long distance runs. So first things first, base layers. You don't need to go out and shop and buy half a dozen of these things. Having a couple on rotation is something I go to each winter. Long sleeve, first and foremost, a base layer that allows heat to escape easily, retains heat when you want it to, keeps you warm when it's cold and cool when it's warm, and wicks moisture away from your body. They're the important parts. Make sure it's comfortable and make sure your vest fits well over the top of that base layer so it doesn't scrunch up or rub in any specific place. Again, that preparation, wearing those things together in combination in training will mean a successful, enjoyable race day. In terms of the race vest, capacity is the big question. We stock stuff here at Centurion Store that ranges from 1 litre through to 40. That covers everything from extremely lightweight training through to multi-day self-supported or unsupported bike pack or run pack adventures. My own personal preference is something in the 5 to 10 litre range. I find that I can pack anything I need for even a winter ultra into something of that size. And the reason is most of the race vests on the market today use some blend of elastane in the material, which gives it stretch. So you'll often find that what is quite a small capacity pocket actually has plenty of room to expand when you fill it. So for me, it's something in the 5 to 10 litre range that covers the Centurion events as a whole. And then, even for longer stuff, that's often applicable. When you're packing the vest, it completely changes the shape of how it fits. So if you try something on, and you're welcome to come down here and see us at Centurion at the farm in Wheat Hampstead and try a vest on, the one thing we'll always say to you is go away and pack your mandatory gear in it, particularly the dry bag on your back with all the mandatory gear that you hopefully won't touch during the race, but you do need to carry for safety reasons. Put that on, put the hydration in it and see how it fits, because it completely changes the fit of the vest. Something that fits great but is slightly on the small side in the shop when it's got mandatory gear in might feel way too tight. So adjust the fit around. Also, think about using a race vest and a waist belt in combination. Something that I'll do on a very long training run or in preparation for a longer race, and during that race is switch my nutrition into a waistband. We stock naked waistbands in particular are so popular because they fit so well and so comfortable. I'll often put all my nutrition into those to get the weight out of my vest and better spread the load across my upper body. I find that's a much more comfortable way of utilizing everything together. The other thing to think about is your waterproofs. Waterproof trousers, not so important. If your legs get a bit cold running, not necessarily the end of the world. Sure, they can be really important, especially if you slow down in a long race. They can keep you safe. Keeping your legs warm and your muscles warm will help them operate better. So it's often the case that you might not necessarily be soaked through, but the trousers help keep your legs warm and therefore you perform better overall. But your top half is critical. If you get wet through on a long ultra, it can often spell disaster. Having a decent waterproof jacket, something that's got a high level of waterproof and breathability, allows the water to escape as you sweat, but also prevents the water coming in from the outside. Has tape seams, sealed seams, and a hood. They're often prerequisites of mandatory gear for our own Centurion events and obviously most of the other ultras that are out there. A lot of people ask us, should my waterproof jacket fit over the top of my race vest? Ideally, it could, and there are options out there for that. But most importantly is that it fits well. If you've got a really baggy jacket, just to get it over your race vest, you'll find the water pooling in the creases, and that's a compromise. Alternatively, if you've got a jacket that fits over a very lightly packed vest, so a training vest, but that fits well underneath your fully loaded race vest for events, that's a good compromise. So I personally look for a jacket that fits pretty closely, and then if it's good in training, it will fit over the top of a lightweight vest, and then in a race sometimes I'll have the waterproof underneath the race vest. But once again, coming back to the initial point, it's how the system works together. So base layer, race vest and waterproofs, and how those things work in synergy with one another. They are expensive sometimes, it is a bit of an investment, but if you buy the right stuff and you buy things that are durable and proven and tried and tested, that's all the stuff we stock here. We hand select everything we sell. Then these things should last plenty of time and give you value, year after year. In summary, have a system in place for your training. So all your mid to long distance runs, you should be wearing your kit as you plan to start your event. Be as specific as possible. The closer you get to race day with your training and in terms of your gear, nutrition, footwear selection, should be as specific to the event as possible. So load your race vest up with all your mandatory gear and the food and hydration that you're planning on taking with you from the start. Then put that on over your base layer and have your waterproofs on hand or on if you need them, and be fully happy, confident in your system in those long runs in training before you arrive on the start line.